Hi, I want to show you the features and benefits of this Eufy L60 robot vacuum with self-emptying station in case this is something you're thinking about getting. So let's begin. I've had this about a month to play with and test it, and full disclosure, Eufy did send this to me for review, but everything in this video is my own opinion. So I want to show you first what it comes with, do some tests and show you the app and some other benefits, features, and share my thoughts. First thing is the robot vacuum itself. This thing is very high tech. This little bump on the top is a LiDAR laser sensor, 360 degrees. I'll show you it in action, but it does a tremendous job at knowing where it's at, mapping the area. It has a little sensor here, bumper if it bumps into anything. Here's the charging pads. This little door gets opened, and that's where it connects up over here to pull any debris out of this bin. You can empty the bin if you want.
Dustbin removed.
Did you hear that? Okay, dustbin removed.
Dustbin has been reinstalled.
On the bottom side, you have your brush in the middle between these two big wheels, and there's like a smaller wheel here. This thing is a little side brush, and it looks kind of funny, but one of the benefits of this is if it's going close to any objects, this brush sticks out and kind of pull in any debris that's maybe around the leg of a chair or the edge of a wall. It's very handy, and so it pulls it into the middle and then it gets sucked up in here. So you get the robot. The only basic installation you have to do with this thing is take this plastic ramp and put it on there. I'm going to take that off. This is the self-emptying station. Down here is a little tray. I don't know if you can see it, but there's some hair down in there. And the reason for that is it has a feature where it can cut the hair. This little blade comes up and it spins and it comes over that the brush and cuts all the hair. So that is a very nice feature, and then it drops into that little tray. So the robot vacuum sucks up all of the, wherever it goes, and then it comes back to the base station on its own, and then it connects up into this area right here. This is another vacuum cleaner. So it pulls everything out of the robot down into here, into this bag at the top. And so this is the lid. You just open it up. You can change this, and the recommendation is every 2 months. It really depends on how much you use it. They give you a little brush here, and this brush also has a little blade on the end. So if you need to cut any hair, if for some reason the blade down here didn't get to it, they give you this. And I would say one thing that's nice about this setup is, I'll show you this in a second, but our living room where the carpet is a whole nother room away. But this works really well to keep it in the kitchen where we're at and kind of tuck it away so no one's going to bump into it or step on it. And the direction capabilities of this thing with the laser sensor, I don't know if it has other sensors to know where it's at, works really well to go out, do its job, and come all the way back to the station. And sometimes if there's chairs or other obstacles in the way, it will figure out how to get back here, unless it's virtually impossible for this thing to fit in a specific channel to get back to the base station. Now let's do some tests in the living room carpet. Conveniently, I've already had some Rice Krispies spills, so here's some more though. We'll just toss them out there. And for a good measure, I'll get some rice and we'll put it out there too. That is quite a mess. And then here's a good picture of what the living room looks like. And if we were to go back here, we'll go this way. Here is where the robot vacuum is. Here's what the Eufy Clean app looks like when you first get the robot. It's over there, and you set it up. It goes and maps everything on its own, and basically you just block the areas you don't want it to go to. It'll figure it all out. So what I have here is and you can create sections. I created the kitchen, which is the red, and then the living room is green. And the reason why it kind of looks funny over here is because I blocked this area, and the laser has been able to get past there. And there is an open area there. I just didn't want it to go in that zone. So here's how you do this. We'll pick room, and then we'll pick living room, and then I'll just hit the play button. And we'll watch the robot come over this way and go over to that dirty area. All right, let's see if it comes back this way. over there is where all of that debris is. Okay, there it goes. Well, look at that, did a pretty good job so far. So what it's going to do now is going to map the area and kind of go back and forth. See, it's going to hug the couch right there. And it's going to go back and forth. So this area of debris right here, what we're going to see is lines back and forth picking all of this this debris up. Minor correction on that, the first thing the robot does is go around the entire perimeter and then it'll go back and forth. But check this out, on the app itself, you can see the location of the robot in real time, and the white little lines show where it has been already, where it's traversed. So you can see it's coming right here, so it should be coming into view. There it is right here on the corner. There it is. And I'm very impressed of how it knows its location and can go in between the different rooms that you tell it on the app. Okay, so now that it's mapped the perimeter, it's going back and forth, and we'll be able to see on the app the lines, sort of like, you know, what you want to see when you do your mowing, you know, the nice back and forth lines. And so see this carpet right here? It has no problem traversing. See, it just went up over the edge there. That'll come back, and watch when it goes over this lip. It has no problem going over that carpet. Now we're going to get some of our debris right here.
Task finished. Heading home.
Okay, I don't know if you heard it there. It just said it's finished and it's heading home. So let's see if it can find its way. There's our test area. I'll talk about a few of those debris in a second. Now see, it's a little bit crowded here. It has to get around the dining room table. So it's figuring out, getting around my bag of rice. I'll step out of the way. I won't confuse it anymore. Okay, look, it goes around the bag of rice. Oh, here's a tight spot. Oh, wow. And it goes around, found its way back to the station. So pretty amazing how well the sensor works on this to figure out its way, find its way home to the base station. All right, here it goes. And then once it gets on there, it'll do the hair cutting.
Cutting rolling brush hair and emptying dust. Please do not move the robot.
Okay, and then it'll cut and turn on that vacuum. All right, now let me say a few things about this test area. As I was watching the robot work on this, I saw that it was able to vacuum up most of the debris, most of the Rice Krispies and the rice. And what is left looks like it was a result of the brush, that little brush on the side that's meant to get corners and around things, that it was like pushing some of this, like kind of flinging it, because it's sitting on the surface. It's very light. And you know, it just didn't, it had already thought that it had vacuumed this area. So there really, I think the only one case is this tiny piece of rice that I saw over here. And on the rest of the carpet, I don't know if you could see it in the recording, but it does look like the floor has been vacuumed. So like, you know how it kind of looks like brushed a little bit a certain direction, the carpet is, when you run your vacuum cleaner over it. So I can see that. And my wife has said to me when she's come back and said, hey, you vacuumed. And I said, yep, you can tell when the robot goes through here. All right, what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna send it back out to clean the living room once again and see if we can get the remaining Rice Krispies and rice. Now let's do another evaluation after I send it back out a second time. You can probably see the lines a little bit more clearly as the robot was going back and forth. But here's the area right here. That's a stain on the corner. It's all cleaned up. Everything got cleaned up on the second pass, and so all of the Rice Krispies and rice that got hit by that little brush that goes on the side that kind of knocked it out of the way, it cleaned it up no problem. So all, like, the mess never happened, and the robot did all of the vacuuming. Now let's take a look at the app. You can monitor and do a lot of things with this. So I've already shown you this screen with the kitchen and the living room. You can do different zones, add a zone to be cleaned, I have it on auto. You can go to room, select the room to be cleaned. There's different modes. You can set the suction level, for example. You can send it back to charging if you push that button there. Let's go back to the top. You can automatically cut all the hair, empty the bin, stuff like that. In the settings, you could manage the map and add different zones. You can add schedules, so if you wanted to cut at 3 o'clock on a Monday or whatever, you can look at the cleaning history. You can look at the base station settings, what it should do when it goes back. Manual controls, you can drive it, sort of like a little RC car if you needed to do that. Voice settings, you can just choose your voice and the loudness of it. Robot settings, there is a lot in here. Auto return when cleaning, do not disturb, child lock, area settings, activity load, upload. There's a number of things you could turn on, Wi-Fi management. I like this firmware update. Let's check my firmware. I have it on auto upgrade and I'm already at the latest firmware. Always love that you can upgrade your firmware with the push of a button. Ooh, find my robot. Let's do this. Let's see if we can find it. Robot vac is on the charging station, so I like that. So if you don't know where it is, you can click the Find My Robot. So lots of things you can do in the app, lots of control, and I like how you can schedule things and create the different zones, and just there's a lot of flexibility. So what are my thoughts overall on this unit? I used to have a robot vacuum that had none of this technology in it, and it was kind of frustrating. It would just kind of bump around and hopefully clean everything, and the battery didn't last very long, and it was a kind of an issue. It wasn't really worth it. This is a totally different ballgame. Having this laser on the top, being able to know exactly where it's at in any room, being able to select the room that you're in, it's like it has its own GPS coordinates. Really like that. I like that I don't have to empty the bin, and it can go back to the base and pull out the contents here, so it can just keep going and going, and you don't have to empty that main bin maybe only every 2 months. So that is very good, and I actually like this little brush on the side, even though in the test that I did, I had to run it out twice to get everything clean. It does really great at getting at the corners and pushing debris into the path of this thing. So usually you're not having that much rice or Rice Krispies all over your floor at one time. So I was asking this guy to do a lot, but overall very happy with how it cleans, how it's able to get back to the base and go where it needs to go. So the overall reason I think to get one of these is to save time. So if you can save your time, you can use it elsewhere. This can go, say you're not at home, you can have this go out clean, so you can come home to a clean environment, or just do whatever you want with your time, have this guy do all the work for you. So hopefully this has been a helpful look at this Eufy Clean robotic vacuum cleaner.